And that's a fully installed wheel, and this is the brake assembly which has the wear pads. So the first step is to remove the wheel assembly. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts, and there is one with the lock, which you'll have it in your box which has been supplied with the car. I have just broken the torque, so not loosened them, and now started to put the jacks on. Car is completely jacked now. I have a little bit of clearance underneath to take the wheel out. Now I will remove these bolts. Something to bear in mind, you need to secure the car because the brakes are off. It can slide or move and it will cause the slippage of the jack. So this is just to support the jack, and I've put brakes underneath the wheels. So the wheel is off now, as you can see. This is the caliper assembly which holds the brake pads, which I can see, if you can see my finger, it's there, and on that side this is the piston which we need to retract through the service mode. And something to notice, this is the spring which holds it to keep it secure, as well as if you see here, this is where one of the bolts which secures it, and the other one is below here. Just to give you an idea, this is the rear right hand side wheel and the brake assembly. The next step is to put the brake pistons in the service mode. It's only then it will allow us to remove the caliper assembly. Otherwise, if you can imagine, the pistons are forcing on the brake pads and the brake pads are holding on to the brake disc, and so unless we make the pistons loose, it will not allow us to remove the caliper assembly. So that's the next stage. To be able to do that, press the start key once,
the new week,
and the second stage is to put this to the trip like I've done it here. Now the third is I'll be pressing the phone receive button and the OK button to get it to the service mode. See now, on pressing that for a few seconds, it takes about good 10-15 seconds. This is where what's the first screen. I bring it down to the brake pad replacement, click OK. Something to remember here is that you need to put your parking brakes to the off position, otherwise it will not allow you to put this back. So just by flicking it once, it puts the parking brake to the off position. Now when I press OK here, so you can see it, and it gives a warning parking brake, see owner's manual. So that's when you know that I think you could hear the sound also, the electric piston moving back. Next stage is to disconnect this brake wear sensor. While removing this is a lock. Just need to pull this up slightly up, the lock gets disengaged, and then you can pull it out. Otherwise, if you try to pull it out without lifting that, it will not let you. This is where the brake wear connector is fitted. There's just one bolt which is 8 mm size. You just unscrew that and this comes off here. Also pull this connector out. This is the connector for the parking brake, and you can remove this wire from the clip from here. The connecting bolts has a dust cap which needs to be removed before you remove the bolt. There is one over here and one in here. The next stage is to pull the spring which secures it. So just need to press it forward. It's already pressed forward, and then unclip this. If I pull it, the whole thing should come off. You can unscrew these, and these will come out, one from here and one from here. Now mine is a Mercedes bought in the UK, and the one which has the wear sensor, it was installed like this here. So I took this out from here. That's the inside. So if you see, this is the right hand side of the car, and this is inside at this, and the outboard, this was connected here like this. Okay, now the next stage is to use piston pusher. I'll use the pusher to press this piston completely in here. Slide in. This is sensor, new sensor, will slide in there. So now, after fitting that, I have just installed this here like this, and the one with the 2 pins coming out, that's on the right hand side, it also says right, and this is again installed over here. Now the next stage will be to bring it back and route this first through this hole and then install the bolts. Now tightened the bolt here and the bolt there, and now the next stage is to put the spring back in, and the spring is here. This is just aligning it with the holes and pushing it through, ensuring that it presses against these two, this and the bottom, and this one goes and gets seats in the hole inside. Now as you can see, I've connected back this wear indicator sensor, and this is connected, that's a parking brake electric motor connector. These two are fitted. Remember to put the dust caps back in here and one over here, and the spring is installed also. As you can see, this passes over the top here and it goes and sits inside the groove in here. There's a groove there, it hits there. Now this whole thing is quite secured. Okay, back to setting the brakes now back in again. It is flashing, as you can see. Parking brake, the system thinks that the parking brake is disconnected, so obviously brake pad replacement we have done.